And for our most loyal viewer, Kinsey, sorry on your request being a little late, but this is for you. Ready, guys?
Yep.
1, 2. Nice.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion, champion, champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion, like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I'm so cold-blooded. I fear nobody, I fear nobody. I walk like a champion.
That's crazy. Is there any other sport? All right, so you said soccer. Soccer, you really into. What about you like wrestling or not? You're not much of a wrestling person.
Bro. Nah, once all the stuff with Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero happened, like
Oh my God, we were talking about that. That was like the wildest storyline for them to do.
Yo, when they was just like, yo, whose son is this?
yes, bro. I was like, nah, bro, I gotta get out of this. Dude.
Yo, you wanna know something crazy? So. The USA Network basically told Raw like, yo, y'all gotta have like more adult content because I don't know if y'all knew, but like, yo, a while ago wrestling went from TV 14 to TV PG. Like,
a couple years ago.
Yeah,
right?
a couple years ago, right? So USA was like, yeah, nah, that shit is dubbed, that shit not selling. So yeah, we gotta go back to the old shit. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, if they go back to the old shit, I might tune in because yo, there was nothing better when I was in 5th grade and I saw Edge and Lita in bed together, and I was just like, oh yeah, yeah,
not the lotion.
telling you, man, it's all about Sasha Banks right now.
Hey man,
all I'm saying is that fucking I just can't. The way they have a kid who probably doesn't understand the magnitude of what he's doing, sitting there like, who's my dad?
Yo, that
like,
shit.
What?
Yo, but that's what I'm saying. That shit sold, bro. Everybody was tuning to SmackDown during that time. What? You shitting me?
That shit, bro. I had to see that shit.
I still think the wildest one was the storyline when they had Vince McMahon blow up in the limo. But Chris Benoit, but the whole Chris Benoit shit happened literally like 2 days later.
Yeah.
So then Vince McMahon comes back and like they literally cut the storyline and Vince comes out to do like the tribute or some shit.
Bruh.
And we're just like, oh, word.
Right.
So he's okay.
And then one night later on ECW, they're like, oh yeah, never mind. Chris Benoit actually killed his family in the process.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that shit, bro.
Wild.
You can't make yo. I'm telling you now. Like, you should watch Untold Stories of the Ring.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like that's not BuzzFeed, but something does it. This shit is crazy. Oh, what's the name of the network?
Vice.
Vice does it. Yes, yo.
Vice does it. Okay.
Yeah. If you ever get some time, like you see some fucking crazy.
I've heard good things about that.
Yes,
shit.
it's a very good like docuseries, like on the low.
Right. Yeah. I think that's it for sports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
This was good. It's nice to have another Maps person here.
Yes.
Now, since as you guys know, if you haven't, we finished JoJo's Bizarre Adventures last week. Definitely go check all of that out. Fun series. Great.
Dobby. Yo, you know I catch myself saying that shit like randomly when I'm at my house.
Bobby.
And before we start our next series, we definitely wanted to just do something a little different. Do a movie in between. And one of the greatest animated movies of all time. We did Akira for this week. This was your first time watching it, right?
Yeah.
So I watched it for the first time a little over a month ago. It was Ruben who, after I tweeted about it, was like, yo, I'm trying to talk about it. So that's how this whole thing came about, man. No, Akira is amazing. I'm glad I watched it. I was super confused the first time, and even the second time.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I was able to get some more into it, but I don't know, man. Like, let's go, since you're it's the first time you're watching, I want you to start it off.
So basically, before you came to the studio, I was telling Miles and Matt, I was like, it kind of reminded me of the movie Sorry to Bother You with Lakeith Stanfield, where it's like I understood what was going on for the first like 75% of the movie, and then like the last like 20%, I was like, well, what the hell?
Rails, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? Also, I'm gonna be totally honest, because I've seen posters for it and I've seen commercials when Toonami airs it. I thought it was gonna be more geared towards motorcycle stuff. Because the motorcycle's like right there in the thing, so I'm like, all right, bet.
One would think
this is gonna be like Grease 2.
I'm thinking it's gonna be about.
Oh my fucking god!
Deadass. I'm thinking it's like, all right, it's about to be a movie about a nigga named Akira on a motorcycle. Let's get it. Totally not what it was. No. But no, it was cool. It was definitely cool. I love the story build up. I love The animation style I really liked.
Yeah. Art style was dope.
It was
for
very,
being in the 80s, bro, knowing all that shit is a hand. Like,
yes.
So they were saying
all of it was hand, dude.
Literally all of it was hand. They were saying that so I was reading something and it said that during the time period it would usually be 6 animations a second, but because they got like so much different like anime, there was like 7 or 8 different like anime creators, like including Bandai was one of it. They in any point in the film it was 12 to 24 like animations like a second, which is like ridiculous, going up from 6 to 12 to 24. That's like double, quadruple.
Like it's funny because I didn't even realize at first. Like I thought it was like any other, like most of the anime and most of the shonens that people think of are usually like mid to late 90s. So the fact that this was in the 80s is just so crazy to think about. And also for me, the first thing I noticed was I was like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, if this movie came out like this year or last year, with everything going on in the world right now, like it would have been crazy. Like it in one of the articles I wanted to like look up some more stuff about it before we came on. Like one of the articles talking about just how a 30-year-old movie is still so relevant today. And also it is kind of crazy that the year everything's supposed to take place is 2019.
2019, I was like, oh shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bro, if that thing said 2020, I would have turned the movie off right then and there.
And it's so crazy because like, yo, they're building a fucking Olympic stadium for the Olympics.
For the Olympics, that was supposed to happen. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, there's no way in 1988 they knew that in 2020 they were gonna have the Olympics in Tokyo. I'm like, there's no fucking way.
I was just like, if this shit happens, I was like, if they put in the opening ceremony next year, like for the Olympics, anything Akira related, like it's gonna be crazy. Yeah. Because
I think they are actually. I think they're trying to like
it's
incorporate a little bit. Yeah.
For me, after my first watch, I immediately knew I was like, I'm gonna have to rewatch it. And kind of the vibe that I got was almost like Parasite, where you know everything is like a metaphor, everything like there's deeper meaning.
Parasite.
Yeah,
okay.
like there's there's
anime.
deeper meaning. Yeah,
okay.
There's deeper meaning to so much things in it, and it's one of those movies that you feel like every time you watch it, you'll notice something different, or you'll feel like you'll get a different meaning out of it, or things like that. But it's just not as much. It's not a comedy. Like there isn't much comic relief as in Parasite. But no, it's and also it feels like to me, it's just something that you can relate or just. Even though there's a direct meaning behind it, you know, it's supposed to take post-war, like the effects of the nuclear bomb and going to things like that. Like, it feels like if you're just going through shit and you watch Akira, you can relate to it in some way. You can project whatever you're going on in some aspect to it because of the way the story's built.
Yep. Go crazy. Go crazy.
I was saying this was so I've seen this movie like 6 or 7 times.
Shit.
Just because so I watched it first time I watched it I was like 15 and I was just like, hey, like when I was 15 it was kind of weird because I was at the time where it's like people in high school were like, hey, like you like anime, that's fucking weird, and I was like, oh fuck, I guess you're right. Like, you know,
maybe
so, like,
it's me.
So like peer pressure, I was like, god damn it, okay. So I watched it when I was 15. That was like one of the last like big anime things I'd watched at the time, and then I watched it again when I was in college because I had friends who were like, hey, like I like anime, and I was like, oh cool, like, you know, and Akira, you know, popped up and I was like, oh, let's watch Akira or whatever, bro. And we get high or whatever and watch it and stuff like that. And then, you know, I watched it a few more times. The last time I watched it was last year, actually. My brother loves anime too, and he's 11 years younger than me. So, you know, he was like, I've never seen Akira, and I was like, dude, you need to watch Akira. Like that's one of those things, like Akira, Evangelion, like obviously Dragon Ball, like there's a bunch of stuff, like old stuff that I was like, hey, you need to watch this.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yo, like watch Akira with me, like, and he's a what do you call it, a Gen Zer, you know, he's a Zoomer, so like, you know, his attention span isn't like really there, you know, like his attention span sucks ass, and so like the entire time I'm expecting him to be like on his phone and like not really paying attention because we're watching subs, and like I'm like, bro, like you need to watch it, but no, like he literally had his phone like put away, like after like the opening scene, and he's like, oh fuck, okay, like this looks like it's gonna be fucking crazy. I'm like, yeah, dude. So, you know, and just like rewatching it that one time, I was like, okay, like just like the animation of it all, like it's crazy. Like I've never seen animation that fluid, like ever. You know, when it comes to an anime, like like nowadays, like things are pretty streamlined. A lot of it's like through technology and like through the computer and stuff like that. But like I think almost everything in there was hand drawn, and just like the thematics, like just the fact, like you know, like obviously it's like post war, like borderline post-apocalypse. It's like, you know, like where it's just like well, the world is it's terrible. You know, like they're kind of waiting for like the next thing to happen, where it's like, hey, like just like the animation, like all the iconic scenes where like the bike, the bike scene where like it's been used over and over again. Like they used it in like in Adventure Time, they used it like in it's been parodied on Simpsons, like it's been all over the place. Like it's one of those things that like the second you see, you're like, oh shit, like I saw it was like a couple months ago, like of just like some, maybe some not so favorable people politically wise, like mimicking that slide, and I was like, don't fucking use that. Like, like don't
this is not for you.
That's such a cool
this is our thing.
scene.
They're rioting against the government the entire movie.
Yeah,
don't do this.
It's like, bro, like come on, like like
word. They're talking about demonstrating and like all of that.
Yeah,
kind of
students protesting.
Yeah, bro, like stuff that's unfortunately like very very relevant today in America. Like just like in the world. Like everywhere, people are fucking tired and sit. And it was interesting because like I found out like maybe a couple years ago that it's actually a manga.
Yes.
So
I want to talk about that too.
Which I need to read because I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I need to though because there's apparently like obviously the movie is like it's world renowned, like everyone loves it, but there's certain aspects that even like when I look back at the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, like it is kind of weird that they like jump from this scene to this scene, or like there's almost like a tonal shift somewhere, like in the middle, like when it kind of becomes more shonen, when it's like, okay, like a dude with superpowers, is like fighting like the government basically, or like fighting like what is it, like that fucking the beam or whatever, like it's like it becomes more like shonen in that aspect. But the manga, from what I've heard, like it delves like more into kind of like different aspects, like it delves more into like the relationships between like all the like the human characters and like like why did this guy like act this way, why did this girl act this, stuff like that.
I would want more Ryu.
Yeah. I do. And I think that they cover that like because the manga, I think the manga is like it's a couple volumes, man. It's like
I want you to finish first before I jump.
I'm saying like it's I don't know, man. Like when I think of like my favorite movies of all time, like I think Akira at the moment is probably like number 2, like all time, like regardless of like live action, animation, anime, like whatever, like it's number 2. Like obviously it's number 1 like animation all time, but it's number 2 like just for me,
Wait, what's your number? What's number one?
What's number 1?
What's number 1?
My number 1 is the 1954 Godzilla.
Oh, really?
Original Godzilla, yeah. That's why I watched it one time when I was like 5. I watched the dubbed, the watered down American version of it. I liked it a lot. And I liked it a lot. I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Like, it's a big ass dinosaur, blah, blah, blah. And then, then I watched it again when I was like 16, 17. I was like, oh, okay. Because I found like the original version. I was like, oh, so there wasn't like a white dude like in Japan, like narrating this. Okay. Like, this is more about, I was like, oh, this is more about like, like post like World War II, like nuclear stuff. Like, okay, I get it now. Like, this is really fucked up. Like, and it ended up just becoming like my favorite movie of all time because I have it's off camera, but I have it on a Blu-ray like 3 different times and stuff like that. Like,
I'm gonna have to check that.
I have the Criterion collection of it. I have the Barnes and Noble came out with like a big box set of like all the, I think it's like 20 movies. I have that, and then I have like another one like from Amazon from
that's dope.
No, it's really cool.
Yeah,
that's dope. So just going back to
the manga.
Right. So going back to the manga and the relationship between the manga and the actual movie. So what I found out, I did some extensive research. So the movie was actually made before the manga was finished. The manga actually finished in 1990, and then the movie came out in 1988. Obviously, so that's like the relationship between that.
Oh, okay.
But they knew how they were going to end the manga. So the movie is actually the first part of the first volume and the last part of the last volume.
That's okay.
So there's everything. So, and this is where like I get confused with a lot of different animes that we've watched. Like even Elfen Lied is another example of something that we've watched where the manga finished after the anime was done. Like I feel like if they were going to do that, they should have just made Akira a series. because I would have loved to see like a lot more of the character development. I asked John. I'm huge on like character development and protagonist kind of thing, because you know you kind of get like, all right, yeah, the movie is about. Well, actually, to me, I can't really tell if the movie was more about like Tetsuo, or if it was more about Canada, or if it was more about like Akira. Like I think that's kind of like
I
where
felt that same way.
Yeah, it was just like I'm like, yo, who am I really rooting for here? You know what I'm saying? And then where does like Kyoko and Takashi and then the other kid come into all of that? Because it's just like, yo, they just pulled up out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to figure out more like about the kids and all of that kind of shit. But overall though, like I feel like when it comes to like post-apocalyptic Japanese like animes, I feel like it's so interesting to watch it from an American perspective, because you compare like a lot of the animation shit that comes out of Japan versus the animation comes out from America. It's like completely different. Like
the way we use the mediums is in completely different ways. Is that what you're trying to get to?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, that like I feel like with and that's why I love anime in general, is like, yo, you can get these darker kind of like themes and more like deeper like undertones for shit. Versus in America, it's like most of the cartoons is just lighthearted, kind of like, all right, I'm trying to be funny. It's never really like they don't have like a American version of what anime is. You know what I'm saying?
And that's something that I usually tell people when like I try and get people who are just like, oh, anime is weird. Like, how do you watch this stuff like that? And I'm like explaining where it's like, imagine you took the best writers in America who make all of your favorite movies and TV shows and had them make an animated show. Like, there's still real writers covering real issues. It's just because the idea that we have as Americans of what cartoons and what animated things are just not the same. Right. Like, and I feel like part of the reason why our generation and even like as you get older, like people stick with it, is because the way you can tell stories in that medium is just so much different and allows for so much freedom for you to hit things, and it makes it not more easily, but I feel like it makes it like easier to digest pretty much through an animated medium. So when you get that, it allows for so much more opportunity, and there's a reason why so many animated and anime movies should not be live action. You just can't do it properly. You can't do it properly. You can't like put everything in it to the same way. There's certain things that can be live action that would work out well. Like, for example, the anime Psycho-Pass. I think if that was live action, it would be okay. But like for this, and one of the things that I was looking up was they've been saying they've been working on an Akira live action for years and years, and the directors have changed. It's one movie that I don't think should be done live action, and it's like people were saying like Jordan Peele was linked to it at one point, and he turned it down. Like he was like, I don't want to do it anymore. Like, it's just there's so much that goes into it, and part of the reason was like the way we are in America. Like, you would need someone who's hardcore into anime, who understands it at its root, to fully put it together. It's like Jon Favreau doing Iron Man and creating the Marvel like universe, like the Marvel film universe. If it wasn't Jon Favreau, it probably wouldn't have worked out the way it did. Like, he's deep in it. Yeah. The things he does, like between that, him working on The Mandalorian, he's deep in Star Wars.
Shout out to Chef, man.
Yeah,
Shout
like you would need someone with that like pedigree in the US for anime, which is just like, you're not really finding that, who also has the credentials to be able to put together a movie properly. And it's just like, and it's also, I just don't think it's like, it wouldn't have the same effect live action. Like, I don't know. And that was one thing when I was looking it up, they were like, yeah, the manga came out, and they were like, the manga is so much more expensive. So like, I think that's something that I might want to read too.
Yeah,
I need to find that. Yeah.
That's that's what I agree with that. Like, when you say like about, you can kind of express messages and in a way in anime that you can't in live action. Mm-hmm. And when you said that, I instantly thought of the show BoJack Horseman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because they touch on so many.
It's dark.
It's dark. No, it is dark. Like, behind like the jokes and stuff. Mm-hmm. And Will Arnett is fantastic in that. But behind all the jokes and stuff, it's a very dark show, and it hits home, at certain points. But it's a way I was able to digest it in that medium more than if, let's say, it was a live action show with real people doing the same exact jokes, doing the same exact lines. It's just a certain way that you can get across a message with an animated style.
Look at Big Mouth.
Yeah, I'm about to say Big Mouth is probably another great example, and like our favorite. Sorry, my bad. Big Mouth is probably a really good example, and I feel like because it appeals to teenagers, I feel like depicts that even more. But probably like the classic example for American animation to get to point shit out is probably South Park. I think South Park probably does it in a way because one, it's funny, and I think that's kind of what American audiences need to capture things. I feel like anime can be funny.
Absolutely. Look at Konosuba.
Yeah, literally. But you know what I'm saying? It's like American culture finds a way to incorporate humor and like satire more so than anything. I think that's what makes like South Park and Family Guy and The Simpsons so great, is that satire is really like ingrained to like make us, all right, like they're making fun of this shit, but this shit is actually happening. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't think you'll find a post-war movie in America that's animated. It just would never happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
We
like
got a shit ton of live action.
Yeah.
That's post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic, post-war, post-slavery.
Post everything.
You're not finding no animated stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like,
they could never make like an animated version of Independence Day. Like it just wouldn't. it just wouldn't be.
The U.S. couldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
The U.S. couldn't do it. It wouldn't. It wouldn't hit as hard.
You're not seeing an animated 12 Years a Slave.
Oh yeah. See
Like,
that just
it would not hit,
bro. No, but you know.
Oh my god.
right? Think about it.
Yo, oh my god.
Wait.
Yo.
But like you were saying, like how different shows have even incorporated Akira. The first when was it Tetsu was going all, you know, when then his body was just like basically betraying him, and he was just engorging everything in his path. It instantly reminded me of the South Park episode, the Trapper Keeper episode, when Cartman's Trapper Keeper literally just goes and engulfs everything, and he literally looks just like it.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe they took it from it, maybe they didn't, but I mean,
They probably did.
They probably did.
But that's
Like when I was looking shit up, they're like Stranger Things. The creator behind Stranger Things was like, I basically took the Akira was my big inspiration for this. Kanye West also said Akira is one of his favorite movies of all time, and he did.
He did say that.
Yeah, I forgot which music video it was, but he did one that was based off like Akira and things like that. And it's also so interesting of like how things work into it, because Akira, the creator, was like part of my art style, and things were inspired by Blade Runner and by Tron. And it's like you can see the way the bikes are set up.
That's what I thought of with Tron.
Yeah,
you can see that. You can see that. Yeah, in the animation, you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and also one of the major things about like Akira was at the time, like the anime that would have came out around that time was more digestible and more like it was more traditional anime and like shonen, or like more like cutesy with big eye characters, like different features that weren't as realistic. So when Akira came out, you weren't getting like more hyper realistic, not hyper, but like more realistic proportioned and like looking characters. More people that looked more so like actual humans. The reason why I feel like the art style is so amazing, because when you compare it, you're getting either bright colors or like pastels or things like that. When you're in Akira, you were like, these are real colors. Like for me, one of the things that stands out is whenever they do red in Akira, whether it's blood, whether it's the followers of Akira in that scene where Ryu and the government guy are walking, and they're like, look at them, and they're writing on the red paint, like the red is like, it super stands out, and it just wasn't part of the color palette of other animated things at that time. And part of the reason was he wanted it to like appeal to the American audience and be like, these are more realistic. And it's like you'll find people who have never watched an anime in their life, they watched Akira. Like things like that for that reason. Yeah. Like it was like such a trailblazer for so many other things, where it's like you're now, because of that, you're getting into seeing darker animes and seeing things that aren't like, as much as I love One Piece, you're not seeing things that are One Piece proportions or like things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, it's like the thing that differentiates the most between like this movie and like other movies that was coming out around this time, and I'm like really like referring more so to like Studio G movies, is that like the animation in this was just so much, and Ruben, you said it perfectly, like it's just so fluid. Like there was a scene when like the dogs and shit was coming around the corner, and I'm like, yo, like these motherfuckers moving fast as shit. Like I feel like it's like I'm watching anime today, like I'm watching like Attack on Titan, or I'm watching like my Hero, which is like crazy to think about, because that was 30 plus years. Well, is it 30 plus? Yeah, 30, literally 32 years ago that this shit came out. So yeah, man, I don't know. This shit was definitely, I had my problems with it, but overall, like I do think that like
ahead of its time.
Yeah, way ahead of, like absolutely. That's my biggest takeaway from it.
What are your problems with it? I'm curious.
Oh no, I mean I kind of already voiced it. Like it's I just wish that they went a little bit deeper into the character. The character. But I mean, like, you know, that's in the manga. Like I could do that for myself. Like if I want to know more about it. And then like if, you know, rewatching it after reading the manga, I'll probably look at it a lot different. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm someone who doesn't. I'm sorry, cut you off.
Oh no,
finish.
I was just saying, like, you know, but overall, like, I feel like I have more happiness with it than I do problems. So,
like, I'm someone who doesn't like to rewatch stuff, but this is a movie that I'm like, I feel the need to rewatch it.
I had to watch it twice in a week.
Yeah, like it just.
I was like, I was like, this shit does no, Ruben. I'm telling you, bro. First time I watched this shit, I'm like, this shit does not make any sense to me. I was like,
and you've seen it before now?
Nah, I never saw it before.
Oh, okay.
This was the first time I watched. I was like, I watched it first. I was like, nah, I gotta redo this shit. Mm-hmm. And I literally hit the reset button. Thankfully, it's on Hulu, so I watched that shit on Hulu, and I'm like, yeah.
Literally, like when I finished watching it, I literally went, I'm gonna have to rewatch this. Like, it's gonna have to happen. And I'm someone like. It also makes me want to watch Ready Player One, which ended up being like one of my favorite movies. Just I wasn't expecting it to be that.
That movie's great.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be amazing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Living my best life in the movie theater.
Shout out Pixar, dog.
Yeah, but when like it's one of those things where I'm like, yo, I need to see what else I get, and even rewatching it in the beginning, actually seeing the foreshadowing early on, like which I did not pick up on, like when Tetsuo first starts getting headaches, and they show Akira, and they show the body forming and things like that, and it's like. Understanding that it's getting that power and not fully him thinking you have control of it. Like everything about like that video that you guys had on when I came in, just kind of breaking it down a little bit more, the effects of like the like creating a new universe, like things like that.
Yep.
And
I am a god.
when I was watching it, I was like talking to Ari about it, and I was like, I don't know if I like the scientist character or not. I don't really like. I don't like what he's done, but at the same time, like if you're in that situation, if you have the opportunity to unlock the answers to the universe, like to know like how everything came about, it's hard to pass that up. But the methods he did it are terrible.
Yeah.
But it's like so many. Like think about it. Like the amount of scientific advances that were done in the past before regulations were put in that were vital to today's society.
Yeah.
But it's fucked up methods. The fucking Stanford prison experiment. Something
that
was horrible.
The Tuskegee experiment.
Right?
So many things.
Yeah. But I was in there like that. But that's what the conversation that the colonel and the scientists were having in the elevator during the middle of the movie, where it's like, you see the world through the eyes of a scientist, and you want to explore and create and do this stuff. I view the world through the eyes of a soldier, and my eyes are just I react and I prevent.
Yeah.
So that's why he asked him, do you hate the city? Like, why are you always like talking so down on it? Like, nah, I'm trying to save this shit.
Yeah.
But I can only save it by not letting
you have to destroy it before you can create.
Destroy this shit.
Yeah.
So
the Colonel is definitely like a character that I enjoy, but it's like I just had such a weird like just trying to figure out that like scientist character because it's just especially at the end where he's like, how long have you known that he was at this level? Like we told you we couldn't control it, things like that. And it's like, why didn't you let me know? So we could have saved all these people. You already know Kyoko, who has these powers, is like, yo, he's gonna wild out, like get ready. And then he's like, yo, we gotta cut off. But it's just
crazy.
It's really crazy to think about. And just like especially I really like when Kei kind of gets taken over by Kyoko and explains the whole amoeba thing and explains where it's like this is a power that all of us kind of have locked inside of us, but if you all of a sudden awaken that power, what would you do? How do you react?
It's really like the classic anime theme. It's like the battle between what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like and it's a fact. Like when they really went more, they didn't go more in depth in it, but I'm sure they went more in depth in it in the manga. But you think about it, it's like, children less impure than adults. That's when when they were saying, and we was watching a video before, it kind of broke it down for us a little bit. But like even I peeped in the actual anime, Kyoko was saying like big people like you shouldn't have these powers because of what actually ended up happening. Mm-hmm. So I actually want to take back what I said about America not being able to put out an animated post-apocalyptic film because Pixar did it. WALL-E.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, but like low key, like
I've never seen WALL-E.
You've never seen WALL-E.
No.
You should watch it.
WALL-E? What the fuck?
You should watch WALL-E. This is why we should not pollute, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I mean, Avatar was a movie about pollution too.
Yeah, you're right. It was.
It was the two biggest problems America faces: pollution and obesity.
Man, it's crazy. Racism. Nigga said nah.
Pollution and obesity. Fuck racism.
We don't be on a planet. We can't racist.
Hey man, listen.
Without a planet, we can't do racism.
Listen. Listen, if that's the case, I'm gonna just keep on polluting and fucking
fuck everything.
Fuck
All right, Tetsuo.
I ain't recycling. I'm only getting diesel.
only getting diesel. Oh, dog, Lord Jesus.
I don't know.
No, but you know what's funny? Like I did struggle with that in the movie too. With I didn't know if I thought at first the Colonel was a bad guy just because that's how it is in all movies, like where the Colonel and there's super science and things like that. Oh, the Colonel's going to use it for bad, but no, he was the one that was actually trying to help people, and it was the government, like the other government people, was out here trying to do bad stuff. And like the girl said, adults, you guys shouldn't have this power because y'all are gonna do what niggas gonna do what niggas gonna do, and that's basically just I have power. I'm gonna use it for evil or selfish personal gain.
Only have the same energy with NBA bubble.
Hey man, listen.
Who, me?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They gonna do what they gonna do.
Niggas just said, I done said it about 10,000 times now. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Nah, but
yeah, Ruben, if you didn't know, JT had the utmost faith that people were gonna follow all the rules in the bubble and not worry about girls or getting food or anything.
I messed
Dang
it up.
house, man.
Right? That's exactly. I mean,
Had to be a rocket.
But I mean, you expect that from a nigga that doesn't even spell his Daniel right. Like, come on. How is there a U in Daniel?
That's so deep.
How is there a U?
Don Juel.
Donuel, yeah.
Don Juel. Fucking the money up.
Is it Donuel Casa? Jeez.
I think you made I think you made a good point. Really, like talking about like good versus evil, but I think it's more so of doing what's good and doing what's right, because those are not always the same.
Oh,
absolutely,
thing, absolutely, yeah.
Like
that's a valid point.
It was really interesting that, and like I really like how they went into how the government fails the people and what happens with it, because it kind of reminds me of as a kid. I remember learning about communism in it was either the end of middle school or like the beginning of high school. I remember learning about communism and being like, wow, this actually makes perfect sense. Like being like, in theory, like it makes so much sense for everyone to be able to like have the same things. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, then you learn more about it and you're like, oh, why didn't it work? Human nature. Mm-hmm. Like human nature, the people who were at the top being like, why should I give everyone else things when I can just have all the things?
What is it? The book Animal Farm?
Animal Farm.
Like the perfect example. Like the pigs are at the beginning. We're like, yeah, we in this shit together. Come the end of the book, he got the pigs out here in people clothes, chatting it up with the humans. Crazy. Like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah, like it's. I don't know. I love movies that like I feel like everyone does. Well, not everyone, but like most people really enjoy things that make you think, and the fact that you can apply it to so many different situations, regardless of the direct meaning behind it or not. Like it's just, I don't know. It really is something I feel like everyone should watch. But like I do also think you should be mature enough to like look past it just being a beautiful thing. I would say enjoy it when you're younger, being like, wow, this is visually stunning. It's just fun to watch. Like it's entertaining. And then being able to go back when you're older and being like, all right, let me actually break this down. That's why I think it's funny where it's like we keep messing with Matt because Matt was telling us the first time he watched it was off an edible. So he was like, yeah, I don't know what is happening. Like, yeah, it's that. And like one of my friends, he was like, he always heard about Akira, but he was at a festival and the DJ was using Akira visuals and he was tripping. So he was like, yeah. So after that, he was like, oh my God, I don't know what this is, but I have to watch it. Like things like that. Like it's like, yeah, enjoy the experience, but like be able to come back to it and it's something that you should rewatch and be like, all right, let's see what I can really get out of this. Because there was so much like going into it from not only just the government shit, from the homie who was in the government, just basically everyone dying around him, just trying to take a suitcase full of money while the world's crumbling around him. What are you doing with money when there's nothing left? Dying on the pills. Yeah. Like all of that. Like Ryu being out, like looking at him and going, like, my team's dead. And him immediately going, did you rat me out? And he's like, bro, what am I accomplishing from that? Like,
bruh.
That's a lot.
Damn.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
If there was two shows, I'd go crazy with. Like, yeah, you said like they were showing the Akira visuals. Mm-hmm. That I wouldn't want to watch off an edible. It's Akira and Devilman Crybaby. Those are two shows.
Bro, Crybaby.
Would never ever want to watch that show off an edible ever.
Yeah, I actually before I watched Devilman, it was like this YouTube channel. This guy does anime stuff. I think he did ReZero in 9 minutes, which is a great video. If you've seen ReZero, watch that. He just like talks about anime, and he was talking about Devilman and was explaining. He was like, oh, the like artist, his art style is just like gory, sex, and like psychedelic visuals. So he was like, to appreciate Devilman Crybaby, you need to be able to stand the gore and the sex, and understand the deeper meaning behind everything. So it's like, it's funny where it's just one of those things. Like Devilman is wild, and if you're someone who's just like, fuck, there's mad sex, I don't care about the rest, then you're not gonna understand it. But I feel like the same thing with Akira. It's like if you look into it, if just the gore or just like take it at surface value, you can enjoy it at surface value, but you're not going to enjoy it the same way as you would.
This shit is a lot to fucking unpack, dog. But I didn't mind it. Like I just definitely the breakdowns definitely helped. Watching it a second time definitely helped. Talking to you about it because you've seen it like so many times definitely.
Very insightful.
It's great. Yeah, definitely great to hear somebody who's seen it mad times opinion. You know what I'm saying? So definitely one of the more interesting anime movies I've seen. So I enjoyed it.
Hey man, I think that's it for today, man.
Yeah.
Ruben, thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, man, thank you.
I really appreciate
this. That was fun as fuck, dude.
Yeah, man,
listen, post pandemic, get you to New York. We gonna be in here. We gonna get some drinks.
I'm trying.
We gonna cool out, man.
Listen, bro, we got the whole studio situation, everything, bro. Like, look, we got space for one more. Pull up.
Now I gotta go follow a bunch of. I gotta follow Reddit Mavs now.
Yeah,
and then I gotta go.
Yeah, I'll follow you guys back, bro.
I'm about to go infiltrate Mavs Twitter. You know, so you know.
No, but for real, thank you again. I would say if you got anything you want to plug or anything you want to talk about, just shout out.
Yeah, I mean, just follow me on Twitter at Reddit Mavericks. I also do my own podcast. We do weekly Hoops and Effervisons. You can find it on iTunes. Anywhere else really that has podcast stuff.
What?
About it.
That is it for us this week. Follow us at Saratobi Sports on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me at Offended Narwhal on Twitter. Make sure to go subscribe to the YouTube channel, Saratobi Sports. And just this is coming out on Christmas Eve. So if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you guys. Enjoy the holidays, whatever you guys do celebrate. Be safe. Again, do not go no mask, just vibes. There is still a panorama going on, so just be safe. And enjoy the things you have, and hope you guys have a good holidays, guys.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, and Boxing Day for all my Caribbean people and Canadian people. Them big up yourself. Yes, sir.
Well, it's coming out on Spanish Christmas too.
Oh, it's coming out on Spanish Christmas.
Christmas Eve.
So,
Spanish Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, he said, "Yeah, you're right. Feliz Navidad." See,
I'm cultured. See,
yeah, you know. Hola, me llamo. Nah, we stop.
Nah,
don't do that.
No, absolutely not. Real shit. Nah, but I don't got nothing to plug for y'all yet. Back on the social soon. Yeah, man. Black Lives Matter. All that good stuff. And yeah.
Dang, I was about to say, you reminded me of Blake Griffin when it was Mavs Pistons.
Oh my God,
down in Mexico City.
Oh yeah, bro.
And Luke came out here with the mad fluent Spanish, had all the bitches going crazy. Nigga Blake.
Bro, hey, no, but he used the Spain Spanish, bro. I was pissed.
Yeah. I mean, that's all he knows, man. That
he said vosotros, bro. I was like, no, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
But then he said Viva Mexico way, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Once he hit the way, it was.
Yeah, I was like, that's it, bro. That was it.
And then Blake Griffin came out, caught the mic. Hola, Mexico. I felt that.
Yo, Blake is hilarious though. Hey, that's someone.
Blake's
if we can get for
great,
cheap,
dude.
I don't mind.
Hey, you had your moment. Let Justin finish. God damn it.
Listen, he gonna have his moment. He's gonna be the best team in the East.
That is true. But follow me, J_Thomas_24. Getting back into the writing content with the season coming out. And yeah, let's go Nets. It's KD, Kyrie ever. We out here gonna be doing Sage every single podcast now. You already know the vibes. Getting all that out of there.
Kyrie's the funniest player in the league.
He is easily a gold mine.
So he's like the dude from Major League, the dude that fucking had the snakes in his closet.
Was it Jumby?
I forgot what his name was, but the
God.
Black dude. Yeah, nah, he was wild.
Yeah.
Well, Cuban dude.
Yeah, and he hits the home run. He's carrying the bat with him around the piece. Hell yeah, man. But yeah, that's about it. Nematodes are people too.
Dang.
That is it for us. Thank you guys for watching and listening. And we're almost done with another year, guys. We'll catch you next week.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion,